Sorry, Mom. I'm never staying at your house again. My mother and I got into a nasty argument this past summer when my husband, baby, and I were in town. We made plans to stay with her, but within a few days of being there, like clockwork, my mom began to go off the rails and become extremely controlling. About 99% of her conversations with us had to do with how we were doing things wrong with our baby. At one point, my husband got a little sick for a couple of days with a runny nose, and she flipped out and wanted to kick him out to leave me to care for the baby on my own during our vacation. Every time we tried to push back, gently at first and more firmly later on, she would bring up the fact that we were staying at her place and that we did not appreciate her doing that. We were not grateful, we were ignorant, the list goes on. The fight got to the point where she shut down and would pretend we didn't exist. To make the rest of the trip less of a hell, we packed everything up after those few days of staying with her and left to stay with my brother-in-law for the remainder of that time. We cleaned the space up and I sent a thank you message to her after we left. She responded by asking for her phone charger back, of which she had left in a different room and forgotten. Since then, I significantly limited efforts of reaching out to her for her to see our baby. It was getting to be too much before then, anyway. Every FaceTime call came with inappropriate comments about my daughter. We are visiting our hometown this winter and made the same plans to stay with my brother-in-law and his family. My mother heard that we were going to be in town, and after almost 4 to 5 months of pretending nothing happened, sheepishly gave me a half apology and said we could stay with her because she wanted to see the baby. I felt nothing and no guilt knowing that one thing was absolute, that we were not going to ever stay at her home again. This has happened every time, baby or not, where it takes a few days before my mother talks over us and rants about things she thinks we're doing wrong. And when we try to talk to her about it, she leverages the fact that she is letting us stay at her house. Which, technically, I co-signed and partially owned in order for her to get approved for the mortgage loan. I don't want to be stressed, unhappy, or uncomfortable this holiday. For those of you who have a rough time with family, just know that you're not alone. What has helped me find peace is listing out things I designate as absolutes. You don't have to do anything you don't want to, and if you hear/see someone you don't enjoy time with, walk the other way. Life is too short to give time and attention to people who are hurtful or just plain annoying.